Okay, so once you have your blog post in draft form and you feel good about it, you've got the title and the headers, you've filled in all of the content for these headers, you've got your bullet points, things are formatted really nicely. Um, you've gone down to Yoast and filled in as much as you can to get those orange and red dots to turn green. You still might not have a green okay over here SEO good. And that's because Yoast is waiting for you to add images. Images are a given for any blog post. If you're a food blogger, people want to see a ton of pictures, DIY crafting, those kinds of blogs, lots of pictures. For something like my blog, you know, pictures are super important, just visually and aesthetically, but not necessarily for like how to's, unless I'm talking about something like this, for instance. Adding a picture of the dashboard would be helpful. So basically, pictures, your blog post must have pictures, and for SEO, not just for aesthetics, at least one picture. And so I just kind of wanted to show you what Yoast wants to see from your images. And you don't have to do this for all images, but at least for one or two, and specifically for your Pinterest pin. So what you're going to do is go in, and you can put your Pinterest pin wherever you want: the top of the post, the bottom of the post, the middle of the post, wherever it feels normal for you. I always add it at the beginning just because that helps me to remember the process and how to do it. And so I'm just gonna, actually, I'll just grab one out of my media library since I have a ton in here. And so I'm just going to grab this pin that I have made, and I'll do another video on how to make Pinterest pins. And so what Yoast wants to see is that here in this box, in the alt text, you have put a description that includes keywords of the content of the blog post. And the keywords, it has to include the focus keyword that you added to the Yoast plugin. And then it really helps because this is what Pinterest will search for when you put this pin on your Pinterest board. Pinterest is going to search this field for keywords. And so this is also where that process of typing your keyword phrase into Pinterest and grabbing all of the keyword suggestions that they give you really helps. And so from what I have read, pins that have at least a 100-word description get pinned more often than ones that just say build thigh muscles. Like if it just has the keyword or the keywords themselves, it's not going to get pinned. Statistically, it's not going to get pinned as often as a pin that has the complete 100-word phrase or description that's filled with keywords in a way that they flow and that it makes sense. Like Pinterest doesn't want to see you put lower body gym equipment, thigh muscles, build thigh muscle. Like they don't want to see, little chunks of words. They want to see this post include, or have you ever wanted to, build your thigh muscles because you want to look really strong when you're wearing tights or whatever. And, they want to see you write a description that's really captivating, that is filled with keywords, and that, gives an accurate description of the content that people are going to see when they click from the pin to your blog. So make sure to go ahead and plug that in here, and then you just hit insert into post, and that drops your picture right into there. You can edit this picture and change the size to thumbnail, medium, large. I always stick it to full size because I want it to be vertical and full size. 735 by 1100 is the optimum size for a Pinterest pin. So I always do it full size. It looks a little big in the blog post, but Pinterest is a huge traffic driver And so I want to make my posts Pinterest friendly. Um, and then you hit update if you have changed anything. And then, now Yoast should be pretty happy. It's not happy on mine, obviously, because um, filled this out and made it look really good and all that kind of stuff. So, but yours, if you've gone through and fixed these kinds of things, then adding that image will likely bump that one up there to green. There's going to be some of them in here that are not going to make any sense to you. And the cool thing about Yoast is that you don't have to get every single one of these to turn green. You just have to get this one to turn green. And so the key points about that are to make sure the meta description is, I think, at least 120 characters and has the keyword in it. The blog post is at least 300 words, if not more. There's an image, and the image alt tag has the keyword in it. Those are kind of the top things that Yoast is going to be looking for. So once you get this, I mean, you can see here, I don't even have like a full blog post, and Yoast is saying that's an orange for SEO. And red is the worst, green is the best. So even without having a full blog post, I'm on orange. So you really just want to change as many of those as you can to get this one up here to turn green. And then as you get to be a more experienced blogger and you start to learn a little bit more about SEO and that kind of thing, you can be thinking about, changing all of these to green. But the number one thing that you want to be thinking about when you're writing your content is having a keyword phrase that is consistent throughout the content, from the title to the picture to the headings, all the way throughout. You don't necessarily need to have the keyword phrase in every single heading, but at least one, if not two. And then as you're writing the content, thigh muscles are the group of muscles that are, the hamstrings, etc. You'll be naturally using the keyword phrase throughout the content because you're talking about the keyword phrase. But you don't want to, just like if your keyword phrase was, Nordic track or whatever. I mean, you don't want to just be like, what are thigh muscles? Thigh muscles are the hamstrings and the quads, et cetera, et cetera. I really love my Nordic track. Thigh muscles are also great because, you don't want to just kind of drop it in there randomly. You want the content to really flow and be friendly and be helpful and, just kind of naturally mentioning the keywords. And Yoast will reward you for that because, like it says, the focus keyword appears in 4 out of, that's not it. There's one in here that once you have, say, 1,000 to 1,200 or 1,500 words in your blog post, Yoast is going to measure the number of times that your keyword phrase is mentioned by the number of words in the post and kind of give you a ratio. And they have a specific ratio of keyword mentions to word count. So if you only mention it 3 times in a 37 word post, that's awesome. But if you only mention it 3 times in a 1,500 word post, that's not going to meet their ratio. So those are some of the kind of the key things about the Yoast plugin. Image, alt text, make sure you get that plugged in. And then just like I said, the number one thing is just to be thinking about the keyword phrase as you are writing your copy.